Hi, this is Theo from ParkerBlocks.com. Today I'm going to review the Khadi Papers sketchbook. This is the watercolor sketchbook that I have been using for a few months. I have filled up half of it, so it's about time I put out a review for it. The sketchbook that I have measures 10 inches by 8 inches. This cardboard cover is very thick, and I think they wrap some sort of paper over it. And this is the color of the sketchbook, and you can see some of the paper fiber. This is like starting to come off. And this is the back of the sketchbook, 210 GSM. It says here that it is smooth, however the paper texture is actually more like cold press. So let's take a look inside. I'm not sure if you can see the paper texture. So this is cold press. Colors come out very vibrant on the paper. The paper is white, and that's very nice. This is Winsor & Newton color swatches. This is from Mission Gold. The paper does not dull down the color in any way. So you can see this is the sort of pattern you can get when you use granulating paints like French Ultramarine. Let me zoom in closer for you. There's no obvious pattern that I can see. So you can see some granulation pattern here as well. Very textural. This is the road. Now for this particular sketch, I use quite a lot of layers, especially this part here. So I kept on layering to make this part darker, and the paper handles water very well. Even though it's 210 GSM, you can take several layers of water with no problem at all. And it buckles slightly, however, when you close the sketchbook down and you leave it for a few days, the paper will become flat again. So this area here, I layered many layers. So paper is very good for wet on wet effect. For example, I blended the light side here into the shadow side. And even in the shadow side, I dropped in some paint, and you can still see the colors showing through. And another thing I like about this sketchbook is the decked edges. This is very nice. I use mainly pen and ink watercolor in this sketchbook, and this sketchbook handles ink lines very well. I use Noodler's bulletproof black ink for most of my sketches in this book, and in many cases they work very well except for this particular instance. So you can see some feathering coming out. I think it's because of the paper sizing, because when I flip one page, you can see here that the same ink is very sharp, and here it feathers a bit. And it's only in this particular area because when you take a look at these lines here, there's no feathering. So strange thing here. You can see some colors actually coming through from the earlier sketches. So if you apply a lot of water, they will seep through into the hole and come across to the other pages. So in this particular case, because the colors are there, I try to draw them on single sheets. Also, the sketchbook opens flat, so this is good if you want to draw panorama scenes. You can draw across, absolutely no problem at all. And when you are scanning, it's very good for the scanner as well, because you can lay the sketchbook flat on the scanner bed. There are some downside to the paper though. This paper is sized with gelatin. I find that the sizing is not consistent. Like for example, for this particular page here, you can see that the colors are very strong. However, on this next page here, you can see some of the colors are actually faded. You can see a lot of the white showing through. This is a good example. This is a panorama sketch. However, one page is sized differently compared to the other page. So I'm just going to point you to the difference. So this is the difference. I actually used the same shade of blue on both sides of the paper. However, you can see that it came out differently. So on this side you have more white showing through, and on this side you just get to see the paint on top of the paper. Let me move down. Same thing here. Same color for the floor, but on this side you see the white showing through, and this side is just the paint. If you're drawing panorama sketch and one side is sized differently compared to the other side, then the drawing is going to look a bit different. But overall, I really enjoy sketching in this sketchbook. I find that the colors work really well on the paper. Very bright, that's the way I like it. And also I love the granulation pattern when you use granulating paints. Also, the paper quality is a bit inconsistent as well, but it only happens to some pages. So this is the first time after using over 40 sheets, this is the first time I see this sort of effect happening because of the paper fiber coming off of the paper. So this area here, I think there's some paper fiber coming off. I did not notice that and I painted over it. So now there's this ugly thing going on here and a bit here as well. You can see because of the paper fiber, the ink actually came out, stretched out here. Same thing for here as well. Another inconsistency is the paper weight. For example, this page here is actually, to me it feels thinner compared to this page here on the right side, and they are actually from the same sheet of paper, so that is the weird thing. And throughout the sketchbook you will notice some inconsistency in terms of paper weight. Some paper will appear to feel a bit thicker and sturdier compared to other pages. Oops, you can see the colors showing through, and on this particular page I can see the paper fiber as well. So this paper here, so this page has some thing going on here, so I have to be very careful when drawing across. Maybe I'll just use this page for just pen and ink instead of watercolor. To conclude, I would say the paper quality is very good except for the occasional inconsistent paper sizing and also paper weight. Paper weight is not so much of a problem, but paper sizing, if the left page is sized differently from the right page and you're painting across, then your painting is going to look a bit different, and there's no easy way to check whether or not the paper on both pages are sized in the same manner. So that's something to take note of. But overall, I really love this sketchbook. I like the cover compared to black covers like this. I actually prefer this cover. Also, the deckled edges, really very nice. The paper is also white and handles colors very vibrantly. And it's flat, so that it's easy to scan. And so far, after using it for a few months, the stitching seems to be quite durable. So far so good. I have finished half of the sketchbook. I will continue to use this for the next few months. So yeah, this is overall quite an expensive sketchbook if you factor in the shipping, but I would say it's still worth it, especially for people who are into painting, who use a lot of wet on wet techniques. And this, I think, is a very good sketchbook for you. So that's all for today's review. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I'll post the link to my text review of the Khadi paper sketchbook as well, and you can also find links to where you can buy them. And yeah, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more art product reviews, sketching tips and techniques. See you in the next video. Bye.